Good evening, people, and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. Another episode of The Final Word. A very happy final word, an upbeat final word, if you like. That's not if everyone's not too tired on this late Sunday evening. And if you watch the football, that was pretty drab as well, to be honest. It was like pulling teeth at times. So we will try and lift the mood at least, because Leeds obviously won yesterday comfortably. So you probably won't get an easier game of football, if I'm being honest. I think... well, they had an XG of 0.00, didn't they? They had 0 shots. Wayne Rooney made 7 changes, sort of like threw the tie a little bit. And it was, an easy afternoon for Leeds United. There'll be much tougher tests on the horizon. And as Chris just said in the chat as well, Millwall beat Burnley. So that's lovely. So, yeah, just 3 points behind Sunderland now. We're going to win the league and all that jazz. You know how it goes. Ignore that whistle. I haven't spoke to Luke for a while. It feels like you haven't been on for an age, Luke. So let's come to you first and foremost. You were at the game, I believe.
I wasn't, mate, yesterday. No.
Okay.
No.
It's not like you, but talk to me about the game, mate. What did you think?
It was...
We said upbeat, mate. We said upbeat. What are you playing at?
I'm really upbeat, and I think it was a convincing performance, but it was nothing less than anybody expected. If we're realistic, so I'm not reading too much into it. It was nice to see some debutants, and I really did enjoy the performance. I think I still worry that we do take a step off the gas a little bit. I know we did have plenty more shots and things, but I spoke to a lad from the Argyle Way or whatever they were called this morning, and he was like, we should have beaten them 7 or 8-0, and we probably should have done. But look, lots of positives to take out of it. We didn't concede a single shot on target. They didn't even. I don't remember him getting into our final third all game. So look, if you can't take positives out of that, when are you going to be able to find positives? They were an half decent side last season, I thought, as well. Just finished above the relegation, so I was a little bit disappointed in them. And I thought Rooney was a bit. I thought what he did was a little bit disrespectful. Actually, I think most managers will come to Ellen Road and maybe play for a point, but they won't step after the team. It's not a cup tie. Do you know what I mean? We're not a league above them. They're still competing in the very same league against the same sides that we're going to be competing. So, a little bit disrespectful from Rooney, I think, but yeah, they got the just deserved. It was always going to be a comprehensive victory for me, and some well-taken goals. Nice to see Dan James back on the score sheet with a belter. I quite enjoyed it. I was quite bored, though. It was one of those games when I got quite bored. Yeah.
I sort of, Luke, if I'm honest, I get where you're coming from, because I sort of knew the second half was going to play out how it did. And I'll come to you, Matty, because you were at the game. I got that one right?
Yeah.
The second half, the atmosphere sounded like a morgue at times. Now, I'm not at the ground. What am I to comment on that? But it almost feels like there's a resignation when that second half started, that Leeds United were like, we might get another, but we'll probably just see this out. So there is a little supposed to be being positive, but it was a little bit boring in the second half. You talk to me, and we'll ask Paul afterwards as well, because you were at the ground. What was it like in the ground?
No, yeah, you're right there, Joe. I mean, for first 15, 20 minutes of the game, it were a little bit like that as well. And then obviously when we scored them 3 goals in 8 minutes, the roof came off. You know what I mean? But that second half, yeah, I mean, I did a match day vlog, and I was talking. I took my little lad with me, 5-year-old. So it was a really good day for me personally to take him to like his first proper game. And I was asking him at half time what he thought, and he thought there were going to be 6 or 7 goals. I think when you're 3-0 up at half time, you sort of want your team to, go full throttle and try and get more goals. But like you say, I think everyone's sort of resigned to the fact that if we go 2 or 3 goals up, we do sort of take us a foot off the gas, even though we still control the majority of the game. I mean, that were like we were 3 or 4 leagues between us in that one. It was scandalous, really. But don't matter who we play, we tend to ease off. But I think the fans, I was speaking to a couple of people as well, and everyone's just sort of resigned to the fact, we're not going to pump anyone 5 or 6, because as soon as we get clear by 2 or 3, I don't know if it's tactical. I don't know if the players just ease off generally because they know the levels above. But yeah, it can be quite boring at times. But to be fair, if you can get through 90 minutes and not get any more injuries, no more suspensions, and win 3-0, I'll take it all day long. We were entertained for maybe 20 minutes, really entertained, and the rest of it we're just watching. We're like watching a bit of artwork on it, just strutting the stuff around, just nice passing, just nice and composed. And, you know, if that's your team doing that, then I'm never going to be too down about that, lad. I mean,
no, you can't complain. I mean, El said here, we have never scored more than 4. It needs addressing. I don't think it does, El, in my opinion. It doesn't matter. You still get 3 points whether you win 1-0 or 4-0, 3-0, 10-0. Of course, as fans, we'd have all liked to go out and batter that game. But, well, we did, though. This is the thing. Paul, you were in the ground. Talk to me, mate. What was your...
well, I was in the south stand, so the south stand is noisy at the best of times anyway. So it was good fun. There was a lot of stuff being said to Rooney, which was quite interesting. But just overall, the atmosphere, it went a bit flat in the second half. But first sort of 20 minutes, there's my dog. First sort of 20 minutes, everything was fine. A bit quiet, and then we just exploded. We just absolutely exploded, and that 8 minutes was just delicious to watch. It was phenomenally good, just brilliant to watch. That's what we're capable of. That's absolutely what we're capable of. And somebody made a comment in the comment section, which I actually really agree with. That risk-averse football that Farke likes to play. When you think about it, this is an exceptionally long season.
Yep.
So maybe just taking the foot off of the gas in the second half is a way of preserving things a little bit, maybe. Yeah. But I mean, in fairness, they're not going. They were never going to do anything. I mean, from my point of view, being in this house stand, they weren't even in our heart. Melee will not have an easier game all season. He went to picking up the ball and bouncing it a couple of times where the ball boy sits just to keep himself entertained and involved in everything. It was almost, I've said it a lot with regards to not getting out of second gear, and we've still got gears to go through. And we didn't need to yesterday. That was the thing. Yeah, it was boring a little bit yesterday afternoon, but it was strolling around. We were just passing it around. Couldn't get the ball off of us. They couldn't touch us, basically. Yeah, it would have been great to go and smash them a few more goals and everything. And you kind of sat there going, God, we'd like the entertainment value seeing a little bit more. But it was easy. And I agree with the disrespectfulness of Rooney, because he didn't care about this game. He wanted to get this game out of the way, hopefully get a point, maybe. Because, I mean, you put 6 in defence and you still get pumped. That says how good you are as a manager, to be fair, doesn't it? So I think his eyes were on the next game that they're playing, because that's going to be more realistic for them to win. But for us, it was just easy. And you just do what you need to. You just do what you need to do to win.
100%, I agree. And I'd go as far as to say, and I said this on my review that I did this morning, if they don't beat Portsmouth at home on Saturday or midweek, whenever it is, it's almost a sackable offence for me. Yeah. For him to throw the game in effect, make 7 changes, make them so poor, them fans that travel from Plymouth, which is the arse end of nowhere, to come to Ellen Road and see that, and then also lose midweek. Like, if they win that game midweek against Portsmouth, 6 points, the fans will be like, right, okay, fair enough. But if they don't, I'd be like, you're getting sacked. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if that's a wild take. Joe, any thoughts?
So we've previously, in the last few years, we've been in a situation where we're absolutely spanking a team that is a lower level than we are, and we just keep going for it, and then we see the downside of it, right? We played Accrington Stanley in the FA Cup. We brought on Rodrigo, and Rodrigo got injured because we kept trying to chase it and kept trying to prove a point and kept trying to go, look how good we are. We've scored so many goals.
Jesse Marsh stands tried to justify that decision, by the way, which fucking riled me at the time.
When in reality, you're 3-0 up against a team that isn't going to make a comeback because they've not got any attackers on the pitch, and when they bring the attackers on, they're shit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fine. You don't need to go chasing a match because you've already won it. And you can say, right, okay, we'll stay comfortable, because you can guarantee that the exact same people towards the end of last season were like, well, why are we looking worse in the final months of the season? Because earlier on in the season, we've kept going for it. It's another sign that Farke's sort of learned things from what's not worked in the past and gone, okay, we'll adapt, we'll improve, we'll fix it. And now here we are in what will hopefully be at the end of the season a better position, because we've thought, right, okay, we've got 3 points, let's get out fit and healthy, which is why I think we saw Chambers and Crew and Giavogi. Because
I disagree slightly, Joe. on that, because I don't think Farke's ever done that. I thought he's always, even last season, I thought we were, even at 1-0 up sometimes we sort of took our foot off the gas, and 2-0 up. So I don't know if he's actually learned a lesson as such, or if that is just his philosophy.
That's just his. It never was at Norwich though. They used to dick teams at Norwich, didn't they? They used to batter teams. It's a bit. Yeah, I hear you. I do though, because we've seen it in games previously as well. But I do think Joe's point of it being to conserve energy and that is also true. Do you know what I mean? I think there is something in that. And like you say, it's the first time two academy graduates have made the debut since 1996 when Howard Wilkinson made, I think a guy was called Blunt and Jackson, Mark Jackson. But that's a good sign though as well, isn't it? The fact that he's doing that. You know, there's a lot of Farke outers. I don't think they're around anymore. But when they were, when they were though, Paul, they'd say, "Don't give Youth a chance. Why ain't he playing him?" And we're like, "Well, Gray played like 40 odd games, but that didn't fit." And now we're seeing because if you want my honest opinion, I look at someone like Chambers. He's not going to make the grade at Leeds United long term. If you want my honest opinion. I've not seen enough of him, and listen, I've made some wild takes before in the past, so it is what it is.
How did your Somerville take go again?
Exactly. Well, maybe this is reverse, like I don't know, hoodoo psychology or whatever. I don't know, but yeah, look, I don't know if some of these will make the grade, but he's giving them opportunities. And Gulavogi, by the way, like I say, I was messing on. Like, I love that guy, by the way. He came on and just absolutely bossed it.
Can I just point something out about him? He is ginormous.
Enormous, yeah.
Height-wise, width, he's just huge.
Yeah. Yes.
He almost scored, didn't he, at the end?
Yeah.
Almost gone into that. He's going to be a threat from corners and everything when he gets games. I mean, I'd say the three debutants showed massive bravery when they came on, you know, like Gulavogi. He got on ball. He tried to dictate play for the minutes he had, and I thought Chambers looked really confident for a young lad coming in. And obviously with Charlie Crew with that shot with, you know, in dying moments, you know, fizzing in that, to be fair, probably going to hit bar and go in and really trouble keeper, and he had to parry it over. But I just love how they've come in there, and because teams sort of flying, they've just slotted straight in, and regardless of being kids, they've got that bravery, and you know, they know the minutes are going to be scarce, so when they get 10-15 minutes, they've got to leave it all on pitch, and I think all of them did that.
Matty, just to come back to you, what do you make to Schmidt then? Because I'm really surprised. There's clearly something going on in the background, whether he's not training right, whether he's not fit enough, I don't know.
We know Farke does this, Joe, though, don't we? We know he had it.
But for him to turn to Crew, because my point is, in earlier parts of the season, Schmidt comes on. He's come on. He's only played 10 minutes, but he has come on.
Yeah.
Now he's not even getting off the bench, and he's turning to Chambers, Crew ahead of him, Matty. So it's like, I mean, we'll never know, and someone needs to ask him maybe in the presser, but
hopefully. Like you say, he got 10 minutes, didn't he, weeks and weeks ago, when he wasn't really, you know, he didn't really know the system as well as he should do now, being in training. It's crazy when you think he had opportunity last week at left back, opportunity this week at right back, and then you look at the subs, and you know, I was there in standard. I'm thinking he's definitely going to give Schmidt some minutes today. You know, maybe give Byram a rest, 2 games back to back for Byram, 90 minutes, and you just think, he'll pull him off here, but he just didn't. And like you say, it must be demoralising for him, unless he knows something we don't, to see kids coming on. You know, I think he's even filled in midfield and on wing before.
He's played everywhere but full back.
So he could have come on for any one of them substitutes. So for me, it's a bit of a crazy one. I don't know when we'll see him, to be honest. I really don't.
Yeah, has anyone else got any thoughts on Schmidt? Because, I mean, the fan base, listen, I'm not going to lie to you. Before I started my watch-along, my chat, and if some of them are here, hang your head in shame, because they were saying, sell Byram, he's as bad as Bamford, get rid of him in January. Genuine, this is what the chat was saying. If you want my honest opinion, I think it's coming from a lot of other content creators or other people on Twitter, and they're running with this idea that he's a bad player. He's not a bad player, never has been a bad player, and has always done his best for Leeds United. Because to watch him and then say you want him sold in January for no other, I couldn't fathom it, to be honest. I couldn't fathom it. I thought he was great yesterday, by the way.
He was. Yeah, he was. I thought he was. A couple of really nice touches, couple of good crosses, good balls, was strong, did what he needed to do. You can't you know, he played at left back for a long stint of period last season. He covered right back. He does everything that he needs to do, as far as I'm concerned. He's loyal to the cause and does what he's supposed to do. I think the thing with Schmidt, when you think about it, Schmidt didn't really start. Gruev didn't really start playing until January time.
Yeah, it's true.
It could be a similar thing with Schmidt as well. I mean, we don't know whether or not he's acclimatizing properly, whether or not he's finding it difficult to settle, all of that. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And we know what Farke's like. If you're not 100%, you're not going to get into the squad. It's that simple.
It's a great point. It's a great point. Sean with the super chat earlier. Big up Sean, by the way. He says Melier was in nets with his champers and frogs legs. There you go. Schmidt, Byram was really good as well, like we were saying. And to be honest, to have a go at myself, before when I saw the lineup, I was disappointed Piroe was starting. I wanted Joseph back in the starting lineup. Well, I was wrong because again, Piroe really showed up and Gabe made a great point, and he said like we keep getting on his back, but the numbers are all in Piroe's favour. Like he's scoring goals, he's setting up goals. I just think aesthetically, when it's not going well for Leeds United, he looks really poor, and I think there's probably something in that because Joe, I don't know about you, he is offering us more than Joseph from an output perspective, right?
Yeah, I think your choice between a Piroe and a Joseph depends on who you're playing against.
Yeah,
because
but I don't think Farke sees it like that though, because I just think Farke starts him regardless.
I think that's going to be a question that gets answered when we play Millwall, because Millwall are not going to sit as deep as Plymouth did. Plymouth played with 6 at the back and then a bank of 3 in front of that as all defensive midfielders, and then a centre forward who never got the ball. Millwall, as we've seen, are happy to see teams at the top of the table and go, all right then, we'll beat you, because they've just beaten Burnley now. So when you consider that and you consider, okay, so Piroe's better on the end of chances, and when we're against teams that sit that deep, you've got the creation coming from the midfield rather than needing to involve a centre forward in that. That's where you need a Piroe. Whereas I think we will find out whether it's the system question or the output question against Millwall, depending on how we expect Millwall to play, obviously. But Piroe isn't someone who's going to get involved in the creation, but when he's on the end of the chance, damn, that chance is going in the back of the net.
Yeah.
Whereas the other way around, Joseph's going to be more creative, but he's not going to score as many, I don't think. So it depends on what we need. At the moment, I'm fine with whoever starts because we've got a really good squad. I think most of our squad, anyone that you would consider part of our senior squad, gets in at least 90% of the other championship teams.
Yeah, I agree. Luke, have you got any thoughts on that? What we're just discussing on like, because I didn't want him to start and I was wrong. He was great yesterday.
I think it's very difficult to drop a striker. It's almost like dropping a goalkeeper because the impact it has on confidence and everything as well. So whilst I agree with what Joe's saying about Piroe and his taking chances in the box and everything, we've notoriously struggled with him as a 9 against teams in a low block because he just doesn't get the ball in the box. We don't get it to him. Whilst that worked yesterday, I still think Mateo Joseph is probably the better option, even though Piroe's scoring goals. The reason for that is simply movement, but I have to hold my hands up and say Piroe has improved this year, and his movement and his pressing and his movement and his movement around the defence. Whereas he was almost a statue at times earlier on in the season and last season when he was asked to play 10 and play 9 against teams who did play the lower block. So props to him. He's obviously worked on those parts of his games. Maybe not now. I don't think you could drop Piroe now. No. However, I still think probably the majority of this season we'll probably see Mateo Joseph as our number 9.
I think. So anyone disagree?
No, I think Joseph's got a higher ceiling. I believe he'll play for Spain. I don't know if Piroe will ever play for Holland. Like you say, it's one of them. Mate, when you
man, they've got Valvegost.
Yeah, to be fair, you never know, mate. But
Zerke, is that Zerke? Is he Dutch?
Yeah, fucking squirts.
He's been nowhere near yet. That's not a bad point. But I think when you're content creators, you've got to speak about things, haven't you? I mean, if somebody asked me what I prefer, I'll just hold my hands up really and go, I'm not asked. Whoever starts tends to do a job, and if they don't, whoever comes off bench does. But you've got to delve into it a bit more, don't you? You've got to talk about these things, and I do think Joseph has a higher ceiling. I quite like how you can see with Piroe, you know, people say static. Yeah, I agree. He's more static than Joseph. I think he's given a lot more now than he did last season when he plays up there.
Yeah.
And I think that helps having a hungry Mateo Joseph, you know, what he's seen in pre-season, doing it, and him going into the season as number 9. It's really give Piroe probably a kick up the arse, you know what I mean? And now, regardless of what he looks like on the eye, he's always got the numbers to back it up. So you've got someone who looks good on eye, haven't got the numbers, someone who maybe don't look as good, but is getting the numbers. So for me, you've got the perfect combination. So as a fan, I wanted Joseph to start, and I was surprised. I kind of felt this was Joseph's game after Piroe not scoring in front of you. Now it's back in Piroe's court again, and it's up to Joseph now to, when he does come on for those 20 minutes, get the goal that Piroe does when he comes on usually, you know?
Yeah. No, you bang on. And listen, he's got six goal involvements in 12 games, but he's only started 5. I mean, he got 16 last year, so he's only 10 off that.
Goal or assist every 88 minutes.
Yeah, I thought yesterday as well, what we did see from him, which was quite good, was he started to press the ball a little bit more, which we're not used to seeing him do. He was a little bit more mobile than what he normally is, which was good to see. He tends to do this, Piroe. He tends to have like these weird quiet games, and then he'll have a game where he just like he had that game last season. Was he against Norwich, where he just looked an absolute world beater in the number 10 role? The thing with him is he's clinical. Yesterday he hit the post, he scored the goal of the chances that he had. His back heel was blocked, but that then went on to Aaronson, who then puts it away. But he's clinical in front of goal. He just scores when he gets the ball. And he was hanging off of their centre-backs a little bit more on the shoulder, just doing a little bit more than what he normally would do, which was really, really good to see. I agree. I think Mateo's ceiling is higher than what Piroe's is. Yeah,
we forget though, Piroe's only still 24, I believe.
Yeah, he's only young, isn't he?
Really? Yeah, 24. But it's because he looks old, right? He looks weathered, but he's only 24. Which for a striker,
you were only 24 as well, Joe.
No, but for a striker, 24 is so young, isn't it?
Yeah, and because he isn't quick, he's not going to lose a yard of pace either, is he? You know, he isn't quick.
Well, if he does, he'll be going backwards.
That's a great shout. Going backwards. Yeah, it's mad. But yeah, listen, let's talk about the midfield partnership as well, because Vega made a great comment about just a little bit further up there, saying how, you know, that partnership of Rothwell and Tanaka just destroying low blocks. You know, we don't seem to struggle nowhere near as much against them anymore. I think it's the way the interchange, the way they, like, Rothwell will run into space. Tanaka likes to move it really quick. I thought Rothwell wasn't great against Bristol City, but was back to his best again on Saturday. And them two, and someone, we touched on Gulavogi earlier, but when you think about when you've got Ampadu and Gruev to come, that 5 midfield is probably a team that could operate in the Premier League, if you want my honest opinion. I don't think it'd be amazing, but that's a decent 5.
Yeah,
Charlie Crew as well to add to it. So, yeah, I mean, let's talk about that midfield partnership again, folks. I think Tanaka had more passes than Plymouth, I believe.
He had 106 completed passes, and Plymouth had a total 121 completed passes in the entire game.
Wow.
So that's that's nuts. It's absolutely both him and Rothwell were really, really good. I gave my man of the match to Tanaka yesterday, just because his balls, his diagonals, his little long balls, everything was just so good. Both him and what they're starting to do is they're starting to understand each other a lot more now. So you'll see them, you mentioned it, switching, where one will quite easily slip back into central defensive role while one moves forwards. There's that, as Andrea likes to say, and I like to get it in, verticality. We've got that nice little bit of verticality going on now, which is good, but just the pair of them are just ridiculous. They're always looking for the ball. They're always looking over the shoulder when the ball comes to them, and the movement, and just, you can't. I don't panic in centre midfield. They do really, really well. They're just fantastic now to watch.
Yeah. It's
Tanaka were getting shots away yesterday.
Yeah.
A couple of shots, which, you know, he's been the deeper of the two since they both came in, and I think he had a really good shot on target, another couple of shots wide and one block. So it goes to, I know they weren't great and we could play in their half, but it's nice to see that side of his game as well, with him being the more defensive of the two. Not that obviously we'll want to talk about it, but I do feel like it's a steal that we got in for money we got on. His next move, whenever that may be, hopefully it's in 10 years, but his next move will be 10, 15 times that, because it is a steal and it's criminal that we got him for £3 million.
Yeah, it's mad. It's mad that he was operating in Bundesliga 2 for as long as he was, really.
It's scandalous. He's got everything to his game you want from a midfielder, you know. Yeah. He's really strong as well, really physical, you know. He can win it back. His passes are just always crisp, always to feet. You know, you don't have to check your run. It's into your groove as he passes it, you know. And like I said, I reckon he can
into your groove.
Into your groove, Thing is with him, I think he can play in 6, he can play in 8, and he can play in 10. I think he can play anywhere in that midfield, and I'm excited to see what happens, you know, when we do get players back, because I think Ampanu's lucky as a captain, because I think that does stand him in good stead to come back. But I don't see how you drop either of them two.
You could then see Tanaka play further forward and have them shots on goal with Ampadu in there with him, won't you? You know, that's probably what you're looking at. I love this comment here, because all I can think about is that last that goes pass. Have you seen it? The shot? Surely you'll have seen it. It's brilliant. The midfield's unreal. The defense, I don't even really need to talk about it, because it wasn't even tested, was it? I mean, they might as well. I reckon we could have had you lads at back four, and we still wouldn't have conceded yesterday.
Probably.
Yeah, I reckon so. Yeah.
Well, the stats now, isn't it? In the last 4 games, we've conceded 3 shots in the last 4 games.
Yeah. And they all came in the Watford game, by the way. They only came in one game.
So we've had 3 out of the 4 have been complete shutouts, which is just nuts.
Oh, we're smashing it, aren't we? We are smashing it. We're unbeaten in 8 now. Yeah. I know it's not like we've said, we're a little bit bored, but is it nice to just not have to worry? Just be chill. I'm not worried, honestly. Honestly, I'm not, man.
I think it's nice for now. But as we've seen this season so far, all of that worry is
lose to Millwall. Everyone will say park out again, won't they, Joe?
It's hiding in the background. It's a can of Coke that every time we're doing well gets shaken up a little bit more, and then we'll concede a single shot on target, and you'll pull it back, and then bang, out comes the negativity and the paranoia. We're not far away from it, but we're fine. We're fine.
Yeah, I didn't actually realize until I looked. You know, looking at Millwall, they're actually unbeaten in 5 games. 2 draws.
Harris again, aren't they? That little rat.
Yeah, you know what he's like, don't you? The last 10, where are they at? Let's have a look. The 4th in the league in the last 10, actually. Wow. Won 5, drawn 3, lost 2. And in the last 5, they're 4th because they've won 3 and drawn 2. So
but that shows the standard of the league, Joe, that they're on that run.
Yeah, exactly, mate.
That shows the standard of the league. Rather than looking at it like that, you've got to look at it from where Leeds United look at our players. But you're really reading them off. I'm surprised, but it's more the standard of the league, I would say, than
Millwall now. You know, you're up to 7th. Coincidentally, 2 points behind West Brom, who, according to some fans, had won the league a couple of weeks ago. So you know what I mean? It's a bit mad, isn't it? Though. But again, I think it will be a tough game on Wednesday. I do think it'll be a tough game. Different test for Leeds United on Wednesday.
Once we've played Millwall, that means we've then played practically, I think, every single team in the top 10 then, haven't we? Once we played on Wednesday.
Blackburn to play, mate.
Blackburn, we would have played every single team in the top 10, which every other team hasn't done that
beat us? Burnley?
No, we haven't. Yeah, Burnley beat us 1-0.
I knew it was somewhere up there with a B.
Yeah. Yeah, somewhere in Lancashire with 6 toes and 7 fingers and all that.
Yeah, horrible.
But it's Joe, I remember you live in Blackpool, don't you? That's sorry, mate. You know, as you said that.
Honestly, fair, not wrong. and you got to think of my surname at the same time. It's not a good time for me, is it? Really?
That's a good point. Yeah. Look, I'm just pretty confident about it right now.
Are we getting a little bit overconfident though, Joe? Because I mean, you mentioned the atmosphere yesterday. I mentioned that I expected to beat them comfortably yesterday.
Yeah.
Are we going to? You know, we don't want to be in a position where we get overconfident, and we still need to realize that this isn't the easiest league in the world to get out of. And there are always a team that does come from nowhere. There are always teams that, your Ipswich last season, that defy the odds. I just don't want us to get, as a fan base, not entitled as such, but I don't want us to be over expectant. I think we need to just keep a little bit of a reality check, and we are going to lose more games this season. I don't feel that we're going to go to the end of the season unbeaten, and when that does happen, we just can't be overly reactive and just say, right, that's it, get pissed off again. Yeah. I told you he was tactically inept 6 months ago when we'd lost a game. Do you know what I mean? So I just think need to keep a level head on his shoulders and not get too expectant, not be overly confident, and don't be dickheads about it as well, because we are the big dogs of this league, and people know that. Do you know what I mean? Rooney's team selection suggested as much yesterday.
I can't help but be a dickhead about it, though. Me,
no, I can't. To be fair, when I get online, I get in the trenches. But no, I just think we just do need to be a little bit realistic. We are a championship team at the moment. We can't be looking too far ahead for me.
My only thing with that, Luke, is I get what you're saying there. I agree we won't go unbeaten the rest of the season, but I don't think we'll lose many. I think the only thing that worries me as a fan is the draws potentially. Although I do go along with the statement that you draw away and you win at home and you'll go up with 90+ points, which I think we'll pretty much see that pattern. But when you're vying for top two, a draw sometimes feels like a loss because it is 2 points lost. You might as well win one, lose one in a week when you've got two games as opposed to draw two, because you get more points for a win and a loss. Do you know what I mean? But for me, that worries me a little bit away from home in tough games. Not being able to, if we have a day where we're not that clinical, which we've seen already this season, we've drawn a hell of a lot of games. I remember under Marcelo Bielsa, we'd lose some, and then we'd win. We wouldn't draw many. Whereas now, we tend to draw quite a few. That's my only worry. I don't think we'll lose many more. We'll definitely lose one or two more. I don't think I'm deluded to think we won't. But it's the draws in the tricky games I'm more worried about. I mean, that's 3 draws away from home in a row. Millwall away is another one. We might not lose, but if we get a draw, it's 2 points gone again, and that's my only worry. Although I am very much HMS Pistol League and all that, but the draws away from home, potentially get a few more of them.
I agree, and I totally get that angle. I just think we've still got a lot more to give when you think we've got players coming back from injury, and Solomon looks really sharp and he's only getting 5 or 10 minutes. We've got Gilavugi who could quite easily slot in at centre back if needed and things as well. I just think we've got so much more different and options this season. We just look far more rounded as a squad as well. I think we're not overly reliant on your rutters to change a game or a Somerville to score, which is why I'm a little bit comfortable, but I'm not trying to get overconfident and cocky. I don't suppose. Yeah,
and we've still got Ramazani to come back as well. Don't forget, exactly. Yeah. We've still got Gruev to come back. We've got Ampadu to come. I mean, that even now the depth of selection that we have is silly. And Dan James looked good yesterday as well. He had his left back on toast for most of the first half. It was brilliant to see. And then, Solomon, he's not had the easiest of rides since he's come back. People have been giving him pelters, but he looked more involved yesterday, I would have said. Was trying a little bit harder, looked a little bit better. So, we're just in a good place and just enjoy it.
Can you guys imagine if we'd have lost Somerville and Ampadu last season? Like, we've lost Ramazani, Ampadu and Gruev. Imagine last season if we'd have lost Ampadu for that length and Somerville.
Would have been. Yeah,
that'd have been crazy last season. And you look at it this season, we look better for the injuries to a degree. We've had players come in who wouldn't have been playing. It's crazy, absolutely crazy.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Well, Grim Reaper, So, see, I told you he were tactically inept 6 months ago, Luke. I love it.
Send me that. I've forgotten where I was going. Oh, no, sorry. There are similarities to there where you say losing Ampadu and Somerville last season. The similarities to the Bielsa season when we lost Phillips and Raf at the same time and we went to pieces, didn't we?
Yeah, truly. Yeah.
We have to talk about Rafinha, by the way. Best player in the world at the moment. Thoughts?
Oh, yeah, by comfortably.
Buzzing for him. Buzzing.
Yeah, it's good to see.
You said, Joe, when he went, didn't you? You said you're happy he's gone there because you can enjoy him.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah, because he was linked to a few clubs in England, weren't he? He was linked to Arsenal for a little bit and all this sort of stuff. So, I'd put Cole Palmer up there as well. I think he's
I love Cole Palmer.
Yeah, but he plays for Chelsea, so it doesn't count.
I know, but he's that thick that he's brilliant, which is just awesome. It's just fun. He's
I quite like the idea that he doesn't understand.
His interviews are class.
Did you see that? Did you see that video of his sister asking him what them abbreviations meant? Nah. Oh, it's fucking brilliant. You need to watch it, man. She tricks him into thinking that he's got them right and that, and he's going, see, man, I know all about women and that, and then obviously she's going, they're all wrong, man. It's brilliant, man. Yeah, you should watch it. He's a good guy. Down to earth. That's what you want in it. Down to earth footballers. Yeah, for sure. Right, I'm just trying to think. Like, what else? Yeah, we go on, mate.
If things continue at this rate in terms of our central midfield partnership, do you see Ampadu walking back in?
No.
Depends.
I think he will. He's captain.
I think
to take that out the argument, I think if the midfield continues and right up till Ampadu's fit again, and we continue on the same trajectory and playing as well as we do, and them two pretty much winning man of the match every game they've played now.
Yeah, fair.
Or one of them winning man of the match pretty much every game. Does he have a license to just walk back in just because he's captain?
It sets a bad example to the dressing room for me. That I don't know if you guys agree, but with Ampadu, after seeing now what we've seen from Tanaka and Rothwell, do you guys think I'm deluded in thinking maybe centre half's Ampadu's best position in this side? When you look at how he plays, it's, for me, I think it'd be far better for us at centre half. Although don't get me wrong,
in replace of who?
Mate, let's be honest. As we get someone back, we get an injury. So I don't want to say no.
but
it's gonna
in
happen.
Replace of who?
Well, I wouldn't replace either of them. But I'm just saying, I think he's a better centre half than a centre mid. Is what I would say.
It sounded like you were about to say replace a Strauch.
Strauch is Premier League quality. Strauch is unbelievable. But like I said, I reckon there'll be some injuries before the end of the season. He'll probably push his way back in. A couple of good performances, and he keeps his shirt. It'll be one of them. Every time Farke's had to make one of these calls, we tend to get an injury. Like last season, when Gruev came in and Ampadu ended up going to centre half because Strauch could out. Whenever he gets a call, like Ramazani now, Solomon, how's he going to fit in? Ramazani gets injured. He hasn't really had to make any tough calls. I don't think this is first season now. Maybe we're like Piroe and Joseph. Other than that, he tends to get an injury and it sort of makes the decision easier for him, but hopefully that doesn't happen. But for me, Ampadu doesn't get straight back in team, Luke, and he's got to fight for that shirt and await an opportunity when he gets minutes off the bench.
I agree.
That's fair. Sean says Joe Coops was captain last year and never played. I think I hear what you're saying, but I think the situations are different. But yeah, you make a good point, mate.
Cooper's not as good at football for stars.
Yeah.
I think it depends on when he gets back as well, because looking at our run of games at the start of January, we've got Blackburn, who are quite good. We've got Hull, who are quite good and like to attack. Sheffield Wednesday, fine, they're Sheffield Wednesday. But you've also got Norwich and Burnley, and that's our January, which doesn't look fun. Let's be honest. That looks like a bunch of teams that will, at least a couple of them, want to take a game to us. So that's potentially a situation in which you go, okay, you drop Ampadu in because he does that more defensive stuff. Because we love the way that Tanaka Rothwell as a pairing do the progressive stuff, the verticality. But sometimes you just need someone a bit stodgy that's going to kick someone. And I think that's a bit more Ampadu shaped.
I think that's fair. Can we touch on Solomon briefly? Because, I think it was Paul mentioned, he's had a bit of a rough time of it from the fan base. I do think he looked sharper. He did start a bit dodgy. I'm conscious because I backed him from the start. Genuinely, I thought every time he touched the ball as I'm watching it, I'm willing him to do, and I need to look at it from a non. I guess an agenda, a positive agenda on him. Really, so, that was great. But I do think he was better. I mean, he got fouled 3 times in as many minutes, and that shows me that he's doing the right things, that he's getting brought down. I thought he looked better when he came on yesterday.
He looked more interested yesterday than what he has done, and that we talked about it, and we said it's not so much his fitness that there was the issue. It was his match sharpness and his brain sharpness in terms of what was going on. And I also think he's in a position where he's not the big cheese that he might used to be being, in terms of when he was at Fulham, he was kind of seen as the big cheese kind of thing. It's a bit different at Leeds. I think that's just something in terms of an environment that Farke likes to cultivate, that nobody's bigger than anybody else kind of thing. So it's a little bit different for him. So I think, again, just adjustment period again. But yeah, he looked a lot better yesterday for me. A lot better.
Yeah. Anyone else got any thoughts on Mano? No, all in
I
agreement.
completely agree. Yeah, I think he's going to be a level above if we can keep his league. You can see how quick the ball sticks to his feet. He's a different. There's a reason we've got him on loan in the Championship, and that is because he's injury prone. But I think if we can get 20 games out of him this season, I'd see that, and good games. I think I'd see that as a success.
Yeah,
I think it helps when he's playing on left, when he's got Firpo with him, because he'll always offer support and overlap. Whereas when he had Biden with him, you're probably not going to get that. So I think if he's playing on left with Firpo, it's going to look a lot better than he has done. When Firpo wasn't there. But I think out of those front players, Gnonto's the one who's sort of dipped a little bit. I don't know if you guys agree.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
Honestly, I ticked him a few weeks ago, Joe, to be like, when he had that game when he got a couple of assists, I think it was Sunderland. I was like, he's gonna win award that Somerville won last year. He's gonna be best player, and now it's like, I'm not too sure. He ain't playing poorly, but I feel like
we want more in terms of numbers, Matty.
Oh, big time. That's what I mean. I mean, he has moments when he looks good on eye, but I really want him to, grab game by scruff of neck and come up with some big moments. You look at him and he's got that ability. We all thought before last season he were better than Somerville. His ceiling were massive, and I feel like there's a few more just in front of him at a minute, and he could definitely pick up. And like you say, numbers are what your forward men are always sort of like wanting out there, and he's not getting the numbers I expected him to get. But like you say, he's not playing poorly. I think the other ones are maybe just playing a little bit better. Maybe I don't know what you guys think on a minute, but
I'm in agreement with you. I think I want more because we see him as the stalwart, and he had 3 top games, but then has sort of dropped off again, and he needs to keep a consistent level, and he needs to get more goals and assists, I think.
It's coincided with him moving over to the left-hand side as well. He's better on the right.
Yeah.
He's better on the right. Yeah. Obviously, we're accommodating Dan James because Dan James is better on the right-hand side, obviously. So I just think it's coincided with him moving on the left. And I just need him to switch it up a couple of gears for me. He's just come down a couple. Then that's not us saying he's bad or he's playing bad. But we know the level that Gnonto can play at, and we know in terms of how good he can be. So, that's where I'm with it. He just needs to just step it up a little bit. The responsibility that he's been given, obviously now as a more senior player, I think he's enjoying that. Yeah, and I think it's working well with him. But it's just dropped a touch. So it'd just be nice to see it come up a little bit more.
Yeah. I just want more. I want more numbers. I want more goals. I want more assists. I think that's.
Does it matter though, Joe, if they're being shared?
No, I guess.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
I think if we put that much emphasis on getting numbers from one player, because we know how good he is. Yeah. Are we then going back into a Somerville situation and reliant? Do you know what I mean?
That's a good point.
At the end of the season, if we get promoted, you're not going to be saying, but Gnonto didn't get 20 goals and 10 assists. You're going to go, brilliant.
Yeah.
We're in the Premier League.
Yeah, no, that is true. I guess we're complaining for complaining's sake in a sense, aren't we?
Yeah.
And listen, Fortnite, I won't go as far as to say excellent. He's been very good, but I'm just saying I want more. Everyone holds him up here.
He'll want more.
Yeah. So if he's up there, he needs to give us that. For sure. Yeah. And for all those people that are saying he's 20-year-old, he's 21, some of it was the same. We can't, age. Is it a thing in football?
It's not a massive thing now, I don't think. If you're playing, then you're good enough, I think.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Your age doesn't really come into it.
He's had some experience
yesterday as well, still, didn't he? It's not like he's not doing anything. Do you know?
No. Yeah.
I would rather he gets assists and goals as well, because it's almost what you expect and what you want from a player. If he's getting assists and not as many goals, it means he's more side before self and that sort of thing. So I would argue, I think there might have been a touch too harsh.
Fair.
Yeah. Fair enough. No, it is fair.
Aaronson with another goal as well.
Yeah, let's talk about the American boy, man.
American boy.
I love it, man. I'm so happy to see it. I genuinely am.
Just in playing really, really well. He does that. He's that different number 10 role compared to Rutter. Just his closing down, his ratting around, his energy. It was nice to see him get substituted yesterday, I'll be honest, because I think he could do with a little bit of a rest with the amount of effort that he's been putting in. But just he is, pleased for him. I said that the redemption arc is going to be impressive, and for me, so far this season, it has been. Yeah, he's going to give away the ball every now and then. Yeah, his little passes and flicks aren't going to come off, but in terms of his running, in terms of his chasing down, in terms of his being the first to the press, just all over the place, and he definitely seems stronger this season as well.
Yeah, he does.
Not getting blown at and then falling over like a sail this season compared to what he was like in the Premiership. So
here's a question for you, Paul. He's got 3 goals and 1 assist. What let's just from a goal output, what's a good season for Brendan, do you think? Because I'm just looking back at his previous time with us. He got 1 goal and 3 assists in 28 games in the Prem. He's already.
It's a different level, though, Joe, as well. I think
it is 100%.
I'd say 10, in and around the 10.
Yeah.
I'd say 15 goal involvements.
I was going to say that, Luke. Yeah.
Goal involvements, you want to be looking at around about 15 goals. I think he's got the ability to get 10 easily this season.
He can't. You make a good point, because I mean this with the best will in the world, and everyone said it on the fan. He can't be our number 10 in the Prem.
No.
He can't be our starting number 10 in the Prem. I feel bad saying that.
But we don't know that yet. Because he's been back for like 3 months.
We didn't think Georgie could be a 10 in Prem. And then he played last season, and now look at him.
No, but he was a striker, though, in the Prem, wasn't he?
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
So we were especially wrong on Georgie. We were wrong in 2 different directions on Georgie. And now he's starting for Brighton.
I tell you what, let's keep writing Aaronson off, because let's say that, because he just proves us wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is with Aaronson, I think he'll play a lot of minutes this season. I didn't at the beginning, but when you look at him, I mean, we always said, well, you always say, Joe, Jesse beasted him, in your words.
Yeah, he did.
He can run all day and all night, and he will play a lot of minutes. So I do think his G&A will be quite high for that reason. I don't think he's someone who's going to get subbed off that much. He tends to rotate the wingers. That 10, if he's playing well, I think you could mix that 10 up, and you could have Gnonto in there when everyone's fit. It's the possibilities are endless for that front line, but I feel like he'll be a mainstay in there now, and I think it's going to be really hard to dislodge him from that spot. And if he does get the minutes I'm expecting him to play, I do expect, like Luke said, about 15 G&A should be about right for him this season, which will be a great return for someone we sort of dismissed when he came back, or a proportion of the fans certainly didn't think he would be up to it, and he's proven his worth massively, I think, and he's justifying, maybe not what we pay for him in a lower league and that, but if he gets us up, no one's bothered what we paid for him a few years back, either. Let's be fair.
No.
I'm going to contradict myself slightly here, because I remember having conversations with people at the start of the season and saying that he has to be really good for us this season, and I agreed because of the way that he left and whatever else. But I remember having conversation. I thought he would fit this season. I thought the Championship probably was the right level for him. But I had people telling me saying that he's like a Rizzler paper. He'll get bullied in the Championship. They're bigger, they're stronger, they're dirtier, and he won't be able to play it. And I think the very fact that he's proving the majority of us wrong is a very, very good sign.
It is. Mate, I did a video actually with Joe when it was announced that he was coming back, and the comments in that are very much of that ilk. And I was like you, I thought, look, I griefed him and all that, but the Championship, he'll just be too good. When you watch his compilation in the Prem of his close, close control, and now you get out, you just thought, well, if he can do that in the Champ. You know what I mean? Because the level's nowhere near the same as the Prem, as you mentioned. So, it's great to see as well, because he came back under a cloud. I think, did you see the little video of him on American TV where he said, look, I'm really grateful for all their support and stuff. So he's saying and doing all the right things, which is a positive, So I'm buzzing for him, if I'm honest, because he just seems like a nice lad. I'll tell you who we haven't praised enough on tonight's show, and again, he's another lovely lad. Dan James. I mean, what a performance yesterday.
Worldy.
What a performance.
I gave him man of the match.
Did you? Yeah. Talk to me about it, Luke. Talk to me.
He's just such a breath of fresh air, and just the shit that he's been through when we loaned him out to Fulham and coming and he played as a striker most weeks under Bielsa with Tyler Roberts behind him. He just does whatever he's told to do and does it well. We expected him to be a striker. He's not a striker. His finishing is not his biggest output. He'll run at players and he'll get the ball, and he can half cross a ball now. I remember when he couldn't cross a ball. And just seeing him, he just loves everything about playing football for Leeds United. You can see it's actually in his veins, and he's just enjoying every moment. And that I would rather have 11 Dan Jameses than than 11 players who want to go out and play for themselves week in, week out because they want to make the national team or whatever. Because he's just simply the type of character that you actually enjoy being around. I don't know if you saw his interview after the game with Emma Jones and Dallas.
Stewie D.
Yeah, just so good, just so nice, and you can just see that camaraderie and that is well liked bloke. Do you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah. Do
you know, like with Dan James, we tend to always, in the past, always wanted him to play when, you know, the space in behind, because obviously he's the best in the league, you know, his quality at that. But now you're looking at him now and he's running at the fullback and he's standing him up, but he can even come back and deliver a decent ball with his left foot towards that back post. Like, he's really developed. And is that because of the step down? I don't really care. We're in that league and I'm watching him week in, week out. I'm not bothered that he's fucking stepped down. Like, he looks phenomenal every week. And like Luke says, he deserves the support of all fans. And out of everybody, he's been through the most shit, you know, at Leeds United in that current squad for me. And he's never once shied away from anything. And last season, if it weren't for injuries, Willie Gnonto probably wouldn't have got a sniff last season. You know, every time he got injured, Willie Gnonto came in, and he was outstanding last season with Dan James and almost pulled us back in that final as well against Southampton. So for me, when the going gets tough, Dan James sort of does get going, you know, and he's been standout for me. Whenever he pulls on a Leeds shirt, you know what you're going to get from him. And like I say, now I feel like that quality's there now, whether that's been in this league or not. He looks a really talented player, not just a set of wheels. You know what I mean? He's got more to his game than a lot of people give him credit for, I think.
Yeah, no, I'm one that has battered him for a fair few seasons and said technically he's not hitting the stuff, but I genuinely feel he has improved so much under Daniel Farke. And Luke hit the nail on the head. He can cross the ball now. I never backed him. It always felt like it was a hit and a hope. Now it doesn't feel like that.
And that goal, by the way, were brilliant, Joe. Yeah. That goal was brilliant.
I mean, he's toe punted it and his touch is poor.
What a finish, though. What a finish.
But if Gnonto does that, he's saying it's on purpose.
What a finish.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. The touch is bad. And but he still scored. It's a beauty. Yeah, 100%. You know, 100%. Yeah. Giving him credit there by also like backhanded data, really saying, that's a toe poke. But just a like I said right at the start, we won't get an easier game. We'll have a tougher game on Wednesday. We've got QPR on Saturday before another international break. To finish up, Paul.
Yes.
Do we get all 6 points? How do you see the next two going?
I think we win both of them.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah, the confidence is good at the moment. I think we win both of them. I think Millwall, the Millwall game will be the tougher out of the two. But I think we win both of them. I think we take the full 6 points. I think you could see us potentially back on top.
Yeah. I think there's a case we're on top for the next going into the next international break. If we take 6 points, I think there's a big chance we might be. Sunderland are away again. I'm not sure who their weekend game is, but we're already gaining, aren't we? 3 points behind them. If Melly hadn't fumbled the bag, we'd be top by now, you know? So it just shows that we're, you know, they were running away with it and now we're 3 behind and could be top by Wednesday. Matty, what are your thoughts? The next two, Millwall away, QPR at home.
Same as Paul, mate. Toughest game will be Wednesday. I think we'll win that. May even concede in that. I think it'll be tight. But I expect them to win that, and then I expect the QPR at home to be very similar to this Plymouth one. You know, they won't have many chances. I think at home you're talking 2 or 3-0 most games. I would suggest, in my opinion, and away from home a little bit tighter. But what we need to do as a fan base is not lose his head if we draw at QPR, because then
if we draw to Millwall, mate. If we draw to Millwall,
sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah, sorry. If we draw midweek, sorry, Joe, and then you know we get 3 points at home, it won't be bad. But I know there'll be meltdown central if we do draw midweek. But I expect 6, Joe.
Yeah. What about you, Joe B?
I'd take 4. It'd be nice to get 6 because I know that everyone is going to go into Millwall being like, yeah, we should batter these. They've not lost in 5. And it's an away match against Millwall. And we know how we tend to be when we go to London. I know it's one of those stupid, like, suspicion
things. That got smashed last season, though, under Farke, didn't it?
Yeah, but you got to go back to the things that scare you. And I think I wouldn't mind if it's 4, and I think we shouldn't lose our heads if it's 4 because that's still pretty damn good.
That's still good, yeah.
But I'd like 6.
Yeah. Luke,
I think we'll get 4. I think we'll draw Wednesday night. I think Aaronson got them pretty solid at home, and
if anyone's going to shit house us as well, it'll be him, won't it?
Yeah, I think I'd Wednesday night, travelling down to London, it's getting cold, and bonfire night's coming up, and that it's just it just got all the makings for a shit game. It's not a nice place to go historically for us, and I think we'll beat QPR convincingly, but I fancy us to draw on Wednesday. Obviously, I'd love us to win, but it's got the makings of a draw for me. So 4 points from the next two.
Yeah, I think as well, like the first goal on Wednesday is crucial because Millwall have when scoring first, they've played 16, won 13 and drawn 3. So they've not lost when they've scored first. And I know Leeds United are the same as well. So it almost feels battle of the first goal in it.
0-0 written all over it, innit?
Or 0-0, yeah. Not 0-0 written all over it, potentially. We'll have to wait and see. I think I'm a bit like you. I think 4 could potentially happen. I'll be okay with 4, but I want 6. I would like 6. I wasn't aware how well Millwall are playing, if you want my honest opinion, until I started to look at it ahead of Wednesday, and I was like, oh, right, okay, so this could be quite tough, actually. So 4 won't be too bad, but I think we can get 6. Yeah, I think we can get 6. We've got, as Vega said earlier on, that midfield pairing is able to break down a low block, so let's hope we can do that. And we're seeing players coming off the bench and getting involved and looking sharper and all that sort of stuff. So we should be beating them. But we'll wait and see. I think that's it. Has anyone got anything they would like to mention that we've missed at all before we exit?
Just to quickly respond to Sean, who said draw versus Millwall and I'll be in meltdown. You're already in meltdown. It's a permanent meltdown. It never stopped.
Yeah. Do you know what? When Farker ultimately gets the sack at some point, because he will, Danny will say, I told you so. And it'll be 3 seasons before, and it'll be like, no, you told me in the Championship, not when we got beat in the Champions League final and he got sacked. Like, what are you on about here? But no, Danny will eventually be not Danny, sorry. Sean will eventually be right at once upon a time. Matty, do you have the final pint tonight with the only Leeds Bros?
Yeah, 9 o'clock on my channel, mate. Yeah,
9 o'clock.
Yeah. If people can come over, it should be good crack.
Yeah. So make sure you go and watch that at 9 o'clock.
Cheers,
on Imagine Not Being Leeds. And I think that's it. Unless anyone's got anything they would like to plug, anything at all. No, all good in the hood. Cool. Right, we'll leave it there then. Listen, folks, make sure you go watch the final pint. During that video, I've evoed up Aaronson, so happy days. And enjoy your evening, folks. And I'll see you tomorrow. I'm on the Counterpoint tomorrow at 10 a.m. and then I've got a video on the night, I think. So, yeah. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out, folks. And thanks for watching, as always. Bye-bye. It's taking ages.